Beloved soul, there are teachings given openly to the world, and there are teachings whispered only to those whose hearts have been tempered by longing, discipline, and reverence for the divine. Throughout my years of walking the earth and guiding seekers into the stillness of spirit, I spoke much of meditation, devotion, and self-realization. Yet there were certain truths, certain powerful practices, that I could not share in crowded halls or scatter like seeds upon unprepared soil. These sacred energy methods, preserved through ages of master to disciple transmission, are not withheld from humanity out of cruelty or secrecy, but out of divine compassion. For like a lightning bolt that must be directed safely through a conductor, spiritual energy must be awakened only when the soul has been readied, when the channels of body and mind have been purified enough to handle its luminous charge without harm. In this sacred moment with you now, I do not speak to stir curiosity or awaken hunger for power. I speak to awaken remembrance. There is within you a dormant energy more radiant than sunlight, more potent than earthly force, a divine current capable of lifting you beyond the illusions of limitation, fear, and mortality. When mastered, it draws you upward along the spine, the golden highway of spirit, uniting you with God in breathless ecstasy and timeless joy. This is not philosophy. It is living truth that I and my line of masters have experienced in the silent depths of cosmic consciousness. Many have heard of practices for breath control, meditation, or mantra chanting, and indeed these are stepping stones leading toward higher states. But beyond the familiar teachings lies a deeper energy science, taught privately to disciples who had proven their readiness to live not for egoic gain but for divine liberation. Today, beloved, I will reveal the principles behind this most powerful practice, not as a mechanical formula to imitate, but as a sacred understanding that prepares you for the day when your soul, too, can handle the lightning of spirit with serene mastery. Listen with the ear of intuition. Feel with the heart of faith. This is not a technique you can practice recklessly, nor a secret to wield as worldly treasure. It is a holy remembrance. You are not merely flesh and bone, but a radiant channel of infinite energy, waiting only for your awakening to surge upward into union with the divine. If you stay with me to the end, this revelation will begin to reshape your inner life, opening hidden pathways in your consciousness through which God's power and presence will flow freely. Beloved, to approach this hidden practice with reverence and wisdom, you must first understand what spiritual energy truly is. Too many confuse it with the crude vitality that animates the muscles, or the nervous impulses that flash across the brain. These are but shadows of a far greater force. Spiritual energy, known in the ancient language of the rishis as pranay, the very breath of God moving invisibly through creation, sustaining planets, igniting stars, coursing through the cosmos, and flowing silently within every living being. Yogananda taught that every human body is like a finely crafted temple, a sacred powerhouse through which this divine current constantly flows. From the moment you take your first breath, prana streams through subtle channels, unseen yet real, nourishing every organ, enlivening every thought, and quietly knitting your body and soul together. Without it, life cannot exist. With it awakened, life transforms into a radiant journey of cosmic realization. Yet understand this: spiritual energy does not belong to you personally. It is not yours to hoard or manipulate. It is God's eternal river, entering your being like water flowing through a fountain. The ordinary person allows this energy to leak outward through restless thoughts, wasted emotions, and ceaseless worldly activity. In doing so, they live only on a fraction of their true power, like someone sitting in a grand palace yet confined to a single dimly lit room. The masters, however, know the secret of reversing this outward flow. They gather the scattered currents, draw them inward, and send them upward through the luminous astral spine, igniting a fire that burns away all delusion and reveals the soul's eternal light. This is the divine current that Yogananda hinted at but rarely spoke of openly in its full potency. It is the silent electricity of the spirit, a living ladder stretching from the base of your spine to the thousand-petaled lotus of divine communion at the crown of your head. When fully awakened and directed, this current does not merely energize the body, it awakens superconscious vision, unshakable peace, and ultimately, union with the infinite. Beloved, to know this energy is to know yourself. To master it is to become what you truly are, a radiant child of God, no longer bound by fear or mortality, but alive with the same force that moves galaxies through the heavens. This understanding is the first step toward the practice I will reveal. For without recognizing the sacredness and purpose of this divine current, one cannot hope to channel it safely or awaken it fully. Beloved soul, when seekers first hear that a great master withheld certain teachings from the public, the restless mind may leap to judgment or curiosity. Why would divine wisdom ever be hidden? Should not every truth be freely given to all who desire it? But those who have walked deeply on the spiritual path understand that divine knowledge is not a commodity to be handed over like coins at a market. It is living power, as potent and transformative as lightning contained in a single human frame. In ages past, ancient rishis learned that to give the highest techniques to unprepared souls was not an act of mercy, but of peril. Imagine placing a sword in the hands of a child, or giving the controls of a great engine to one untrained at it would lead not to triumph, but to harm. Similarly, when spiritual energy is awakened without purity of heart, steadiness of mind, or surrender to the divine will, it can lead to imbalance. The nervous system may be overwhelmed, the ego inflated, and the soul's progress delayed rather than advanced. Yogananda, in his compassion, knew that the most powerful energy practice required careful guidance. This is why he often spoke of spiritual steps, first calming the breath, then stilling the mind through meditation, awakening devotion in the heart. And only when these were established would a disciple receive the deeper methods. To bypass these stages is to attempt to climb a mountain without preparation. Own slip could cost the climber dearly. The masters veil such practices not to deprive humanity, but to protect it. Sacred teachings are like a divine flame. Shared too soon, they may burn rather than illumine. But when the soul is ready, when humility has softened pride, when discipline has steadied the emotions, when devotion has anchored the will, then the flame may be safely passed, igniting not chaos but radiant enlightenment. Therefore, beloved, as we speak of this most powerful energy practice, remember, to understand its essence is already a gift, a sign that your soul is yearning upward. Whether or not you receive its full technique now matters less than preparing yourself inwardly, purifying your temple of body and mind, so that when the time comes, perhaps in this life, perhaps in another, the Master's silent hand may place upon you the torch of divine energy, and you shall be ready to bear its light without fear. Beloved, before a vessel can hold pure water, it must be cleansed of every stain and impurity. Likewise, before the most powerful energy practice can safely flow through your being, the channels of your body, mind, and soul must be purified. Without this sacred preparation, the awakened force would not elevate you into cosmic joy, but would be diffused, tangled, or even turned outward to feed old habits of ego and desire. Yogananda emphasized that spiritual purification is not an optional ornament on the path, but the very foundation upon which energy mastery rests. The body must first be respected as a living temple. Simplicity in diet, moderation in sleep, and rhythmic breathing help to harmonize the nervous system so that divine energy can flow like music through a finely tuned instrument. Neglecting these makes the temple unstable, unable to withstand the higher currents of spirit. The mind, too, must be purified. Restless thoughts scatter energy outward, like water spilled from a vessel. To gather that energy inward, you must calm the ceaseless chatter of the intellect and quiet the storm of emotion. This is achieved through daily meditation, concentration on the spiritual eye, and practices of mindfulness that anchor awareness in the present moment. When the waves of mind and emotion grow still, energy naturally flows upward, unblocked by turbulence. Even more essential is the purification of the heart. Hidden fears, resentments, and selfish desires are knots in the astral channels through which divine power moves. To untie them, cultivate forgiveness, humility, and selfless love. Each act of kindness, each surrender of pride, opens a passage for God's light to stream through you more freely. Without this purification of feeling, the awakened energy cannot fully rise to the higher centers of consciousness, where bliss and divine wisdom dwell. Yamas and niyamastha, spiritual disciplines taught by the Rishasar, not moral burdens, but laws of energy alignment. Truthfulness, nonviolence, contentment, and devotion are not simply virtues to admire. They are the keys that unlock your inner pathways, allowing the highest energy to ascend without resistance. When you live by these principles, Your entire being becomes magnetized towards spirit, like a compass needle unwaveringly pointing to the north of divine realization. Beloved, think of this preparation as the silent work of a gardener. Long before a seed blossoms into fruit, the soil must be tilled, nourished, and kept free of weeds. In the same way, long before the most powerful energy practice can be safely imparted, you must tend to your inner garden, pulling out the weeds of negative habits, watering the soul with meditation and prayer, and letting the sun of devotion warm every thought and deed. Only then can the seed of divine energy sprout and grow into the mighty tree of God union without hindrance. Beloved soul, within you lies a radiant pathway, a golden ladder that connects the earthly body to the infinite heavens of spirit. This ladder is not seen by ordinary eyes. It is felt through divine perception. It is your astral spine, the subtle channel of energy that runs from the base of your body to the crown of your head. Yogananda often spoke of this sacred pathway as the highway to God, for along it flows the current of divine life force that can raise human consciousness from material bondage to cosmic freedom. Breath is the chariot that carries this spiritual energy. With every inhalation, divine prana is drawn in. With every exhalation, it is released. Yet in ordinary breathing, this energy moves outward, feeding sensory desires, scattering itself across countless thoughts and emotions. The hidden core of the most powerful energy practice is learning to reverse this outward flow, to send the breath inward and upward along the astral spine, guiding prana back toward its source in spirit. When you inhale with awareness and silently guide the breath from the base of the spine toward the higher centers, you begin to awaken this dormant energy. As you hold the breath not in strain but in calm stillness, the current gathers strength like a river pooling before a waterfall. When you exhale, sending that energy upward toward the spiritual eye and crown, divine magnetism ignites the higher chakras, illuminating the mind with superconscious light. This is no ordinary breath. It is the breath of awakening, each cycle lifting you nearer to union with God. The chakras, those luminous centers within the spinere, not merely mystical symbols. They are gates through which consciousness ascends. At the base lies the coiled potential of divine force. As breath and focused awareness rise upward, each chakra opens like a blossoming lotus, releasing stored impressions of past karma and allowing energy to surge higher. Ultimately, this awakened current reaches the thousand-petaled lotus at the crown, where the soul experiences its own infinite nature, merging with divine bliss beyond thought or form. Beloved, understand that this process is not achieved through mechanical breathing alone. It is guided by devotion, concentration, and grace. The breath must be stilled gradually, like calming a wild horse, until it becomes so refined that it no longer moves outward at all. In this breathless state, the river of life force flows entirely within, upward to spirit. This is the core principle of the sacred practice Yogananda guarded closely. To ride the breath along the inner spine until it carries you into the silent ecstasy of divine communion. The preparation we spoke of earlier ensures that this journey is safe and stable. For the awakened force is not gentle at first, it is as though the soul is struck by lightning of the highest vibration. But when body, mind, and heart are purified, this lightning does not harm. It transforms, illuminating every cell and every thought with radiant divine light. Beloved soul, while breath and the astral spine form the sacred pathway of divine energy, there is another key that unlocks its fullest power, the hidden mantra technique. Yogananda taught that sound and vibration are the building blocks of creation. Every atom hums with God's song, and every soul has its own divine resonance that can call spirit to descend like a flood of light into human consciousness. This mantra is not meant to be spoken aloud in worldly tones. It is a silent vibration, a sacred word or syllable whispered inwardly to attune the entire being to the frequency of God. Just as a tuning fork resonates when struck by the right pitch, so too does the soul vibrate when the divine mantra is repeated with devotion and concentration. This inner sound awakens the latent currents in the astral spine and aligns them with the cosmic vibration of the infinite. When chanted mentally alongside the rhythmic flow of breath, the mantra becomes a powerful conductor of spiritual force. Each inward repetition harmonizes the nervous system, quiets the wandering mind, and magnetizes the chakras like hidden wheels turning in unison. Over time, the mantra dissolves subconscious blockages, and draws the life force upward, uniting thought, breath, and energy into a single current streaming toward divine light. Mantras have been used for millennia, but the one Yogananda reserved for deeper disciples carries a unique potency, bypasses mental reasoning, and directly penetrates the superconscious. Unlike affirmations or prayers spoken outwardly, this mantra is not for intellectual understanding. It is a vibration to be felt. When practiced faithfully, it eventually takes on a life of its own, repeating effortlessly within the silence of the soul, like a divine echo reverberating in a sacred cave. Beloved, imagine your mind as a cluttered room filled with noise and distraction. The mantra acts as a resonant tone that begins to cleanse that space, sweeping away restless thoughts until only pure silence remains. In that silence, a higher sound emerges, the inner cosmic hum of Aum, the soundless sound that sages have described as the eternal voice of God. When you hear this in meditation, you know the mantra has fulfilled its purpose. It has tuned your soul to the divine vibration from which all creation flows. Though the exact mantra remains hidden until given directly by the Guru, understanding its purpose is vital. It is not a magical word, but a bridge to your own highest nature, a spark that lights the inner fire of spiritual energy. Spoken silently 3 times with each breath, synchronized with upward awareness in the spine, this mantra transforms the body into a temple, the mind into a clear sky, and the soul into a radiant beacon calling spirit to reveal itself fully. Beloved soul, as you have now seen, divine energy moves through breath, spine, and mantra like a radiant river flowing toward its oceanic source in spirit. Yet this river cannot reach its destination if it is continually disrupted by waves of restlessness or the turbulence of scattered thought. The masters have always taught that true energy mastery is not merely the movement of force within the body, it is the cultivation of inner stillness so profound, so silent, that the soul itself becomes transparent to God's presence. This sacred stillness is not mere physical immobility. Many can sit without moving for hours and yet remain trapped in mental agitation. True stillness is an inward state of surrendered awareness, where the mind, having chased countless desires and followed endless distractions, finally lays down its burdens and rests in the eternal peace of the self. In this stillness, the subtle breath of spirit moves through you without resistance, and the divine energy flows freely along the spine, rising upward like a flame undisturbed by wind. To cultivate this stillness, you must first become the gentle witness of your thoughts, rather than their captive. Each time you sit to practice, observe the mind as you would watch clouds drifting across a quiet sky. Do not struggle against them, for struggle itself creates ripples. Instead, let every thought pass without attachment until the sky clears, revealing the luminous calm that has always been beneath. Breath awareness is the next gateway to stillness. As you guide the life force upward through the spine, allow your breathing to gradually slow and refine. When breath becomes subtle, thoughts naturally subside, and a sacred pause opens within you, a window into timeless consciousness. Yogananda taught that in the highest state, breath and mind both cease their outward activity, leaving the soul floating in divine tranquility, fully alive yet utterly still. In this state, mantra becomes effortless. It repeats itself, not by will, but by divine rhythm, like a sacred drumbeat heard only by the soul. The spine glows as a silent pillar of light, and awareness merges with the cosmic sound of Aum, resonating from the deepest chamber of being. This is the silent cathedral of spirit, where the supreme practice unfolds, not as something you do, but as something you become. Beloved, remember this. Stillness is not a destination you must reach. After many struggles, it is your natural state, already present beneath the noise of the world and the mind. To awaken it is simply to peel away the layers of distraction and allow the eternal calm of God to shine through. In that stillness, the most powerful energy practice reveals itself spontaneously, for spirit needs no effort to flow when the soul is perfectly surrendered and still. Beloved soul, even as you learn to direct divine energy with breath, mantra, and inner stillness, there remains a sacred element without which no spiritual practice can bear its highest fruit: the flame of devotion and the humility of surrender. Spiritual power, when approached only as technique or discipline, can refine the mind and strengthen the will, yet without devotion, it lacks the living warmth of God's love. Without surrender, the ego subtly claims ownership over what belongs solely to spirit. In the deepest teachings of the masters, energy itself is not manipulated by human force. The awakened current that flows along the spine, the silent mantra that resonates in the soul, these are not conjured by personal skill. They are gifts of divine grace, descending into a heart open with longing for God. As long as you imagine yourself as the doer, as long as you attempt to control or command spiritual energy as you would control the forces of the material world, its higher mysteries remain veiled. Devotion is the sacred key that unlocks the full potency of hidden practices. When you sit for meditation with eyes lifted to the spiritual eye and heart aflame with love for the infinite, the subtle current begins to rise naturally. Divine energy responds to the magnet of love more surely than to mechanical willpower. A single tear of sincere longing for God can open more spiritual channels than years of dry repetition. Yogananda himself declared, "Love for God is the shortcut to realization. It draws the soul upward like a flame drawn toward the sun." Surrender, too, is indispensable. When you yield your restless striving, offering every breath, every heartbeat, every thought into the hands of the divine, you stop obstructing the flow of grace. Energy moves effortlessly when there is no barrier of self-will to divert it. In surrender, you no longer pray merely for power or wisdom. You pray only to know and to serve the beloved. And in that purity of intention, the hidden practice awakens of its own accord, carried not by your effort but by God's own infinite current within you. Beloved, let your meditation be not a technical exercise but a love song to the eternal. Let every mantra be a whispered, "I love thee," every inward breath an offering of self, every moment of stillness a silent resting in the arms of spirit. When devotion and surrender suffuse your practice, you no longer need to wonder how energy will rise, or when divine power will awaken. It simply does, guided by the unseen hand of grace, lifting you unerringly toward divine communion. Beloved soul, as you walk this sacred path of awakening divine energy, the soul will begin to whisper its progress to you in ways that are subtle yet unmistakable. These signs are not to inflate the ego or make you believe you have reached the summit. Rather, they are gentle assurances from spirit that your devotion, discipline, and surrender are bearing fruit, guiding you ever closer to the inner temple of divine communion. One of the first signs is a newfound calmness that lingers throughout your day. Where once small troubles disturbed your mind, now you feel a quiet resilience, as though anchored in an unseen strength. This is because spiritual energy, when gathered and directed upward, stabilizes the nervous system and mind, shielding you from the storms of worldly restlessness. You may also notice moments of spontaneous joy, a bliss that wells up without cause or reason. This is not ordinary happiness dependent on circumstance. It is the soul's natural state emerging as divine current awakens, a glimpse of the boundless joy that awaits when the practice is fully realized. Sometimes this joy is accompanied by sensations of warmth or subtle vibration along the spine, as if an inner sun is beginning to rise within you. With deeper progress, flashes of inner light may appear during meditation, gentle glimmers at first, then radiant visions shining at the spiritual eye. This light is not imagined. It is the spiritual sight of the soul beginning to open, revealing realms beyond physical perception. Similarly, you may hear faint inner sounds, bells, flutes, or the cosmic hum of signs that divine energy is tuning your consciousness to higher frequencies. Yet alongside these blessings, challenges often arise. Restlessness may intensify as old karmic tendencies surface to be cleansed. Emotional turbulence, fatigue, or sudden doubts may test your resolve. These are not signs of failure, but part of the purification process, as divine energy burns away obstacles accumulated through lifetimes of outward living. When these challenges appear, do not resist them with fear. Surrender them into God's hands, knowing that each trial is a step toward freedom. Beloved, progress on this path is not measured by visions, sensations, or powers gained. True progress is measured by your growing love for God, your unwavering inner peace, and your ability to live in harmony with divine will. If you find yourself more compassionate, more detached from fleeting desires, and more attuned to the quiet voice of intuition, know that the hidden practice is already awakening within you, even if its full force remains veiled. Patience is your companion, humility your shield, and devotion your guide. Trust that every breath, every mantra, every silent moment in stillness is transforming you invisibly, shaping you into a vessel ready to hold the lightning of spirit safely and radiantly. Beloved soul, the awakening of divine energy is not meant to remain confined to the stillness of meditation or the sacred space of a practice. The true test of spiritual progress lies in how you carry the light of that awakened power into every corner of daily life. Too often, seekers experience fleeting glimpses of divine bliss during practice, but return to worldly duties unchanged, allowing the light to dim beneath the weight of habit. The hidden teaching Yogananda imparted to disciples was that energy mastery must become a living flame guiding every thought, word, and action throughout the day. Begin by remembering that every activity, whether sweeping the floor, speaking to a friend, or performing your duty, is infused with the same divine energy you cultivate in meditation. Pause often during the day, even for a breath or two, and silently direct your awareness to the spine and the spiritual eye. This inward recollection recharges your consciousness, reconnecting you instantly to the upward flow of spiritual force, like dipping into a hidden reservoir of peace and clarity. When challenges or conflicts arise, do not react from old patterns of agitation or fear. Instead, silently invoke the presence of spirit within and allow divine energy to guide your responses. You may notice that words of wisdom you had not planned flow effortlessly, or that you remain calm where once you would have been shaken. This is not personal mastery, but the divine current moving unobstructed through you, transforming ordinary human reactions into inspired expressions of the soul. Even in moments of fatigue or mental fog, turn to breath awareness. A few conscious, measured breaths can redirect scattered prana upward, restoring vitality and mental clarity. Yogananda often advised disciples to silently chant a mantra while walking, working, or resting, keeping the mind attuned to God while engaging in worldly duties. This continual remembrance transforms the entire day into an extension of meditation, where energy is no longer drained by outward entanglements, but conserved and lifted into higher consciousness. Ultimately, energy mastery must be expressed as selfless service and unconditional love. When you allow divine power to flow through you, not for egoic gain, but to uplift others, to offer kindness, healing words, or silent blessings, you fulfill the highest purpose of the practice. The hidden energy teaching was never meant to create isolated mystics. It was designed to awaken radiant channels of spirit walking in the world, silently transforming every life they touch. Beloved, when you live this way, there ceases to be a separation between meditation and daily life, between sacred practice and mundane task. You move through the world as a bearer of light, the awakened energy flowing through you naturally, silently guiding your steps, until every action becomes an offering, every breath a prayer, and every moment a doorway into the living presence of God. Beloved soul, every sacred practice, every upward breath, every whispered mantra, and every moment of inner stillness leads to one radiant culmination: divine communion. The awakening of spiritual energy is not an end in itself. It is the bridge that carries you from the restless shores of ego consciousness to the boundless ocean of spirit. The hidden energy practice Yogananda, reserved for advanced disciples, holds this highest promise, not fleeting glimpses of peace or temporary awakenings, but a permanent, unshakable union with the infinite. When the channels of your being are purified and divine current flows unobstructed, the barriers that once separated you from God dissolve completely. The breath becomes so subtle that it vanishes into silence. The mind, once turbulent and fragmented, merges into luminous stillness. The heart no longer aches for love or belonging because it is immersed in the inexhaustible love of the divine. In this state, you do not merely feel close to God, you know yourself as inseparable from Him, as a spark of His eternal light shining through the veil of creation. This is the true meaning of mastery, to live in continuous awareness of God's presence, not as an idea or belief, but as an unbroken experience of bliss, wisdom, and divine power flowing through you at all times. Every breath carries ecstasy. Every thought reflects divine intelligence. Every act becomes a channel of spirit blessing the world. Yogananda taught that when this energy is fully awakened, the soul can consciously exit the body at will, journey through the astral and causal realms, and merge into cosmic consciousness. beholding creation as a radiant dream in the mind of God. Fear of death vanishes, karmic chains fall away, and the liberated soul walks as a divine messenger, guiding others toward the same freedom. Beloved, know this: such mastery is not reserved for saints of the past. It is your own highest destiny. Within you already flows the same sacred current that has lifted sages and masters into divine realization. The hidden practice exists to remind you of what you truly are and to awaken what has never been lost. As you purify your life, as you meditate with devotion, as you live with humility and selfless service, this promise draws nearer with every breath. And one day, perhaps when you least expect it, the hidden energy will surge upward in a radiant flash, carrying your soul into the boundless sky of spirit where you will know, beyond every doubt, I and my Father are one. I have always been free. Beloved soul, as this sacred journey draws to its close, let us pause in reverence for the great gift that has been shared. We have spoken of hidden practices, divine energy, breath and spine, mantra and stillness, devotion and surrender. We have walked together through the steps of preparation, glimpsed the mechanics of awakening, and touched the radiant promise of divine communion that awaits every soul. But now, as these words dissolve into silence, it is time for you to feel this truth not as knowledge alone but as a living current flowing within your own being. Sit with me for a moment, spine tall, shoulders relaxed, eyes softly uplifted to the spiritual eye. Inhale slowly and imagine a golden river of divine light entering your breath, filling you with strength and purity. Hold that breath gently and feel the energy gathering in the spine, a radiant flame ready to rise. Exhale softly, releasing every shadow of fear, every weight of past karma, every barrier that once stood between you and the infinite. Repeat this for a few cycles until you feel a calm presence descending upon you like a silent benediction. Now, place your hand over your heart and whisper inwardly, Beloved Spirit, awaken thy hidden power within me. Guide me safely along the path of light. Let me live as a channel of thy love, thy wisdom, thy divine energy. Through thee alone I rise. Through thee alone I am free. Feel these words vibrating not only in your mind but in your very soul. Know that as you continue to walk this path with devotion as your compass, surrender as your strength, and meditation as your daily bread, the hidden energy Yogananda guarded with such care will one day reveal itself to you. And when it does, you will understand why it was never meant to be flaunted or forced. It will come not as borrowed power, but as your own divine birthright awakening, lifting you into oneness with God where no veil remains, where you see all creation as light, and where bliss flows eternally like a boundless ocean of love. Beloved, carry this blessing with you now. In your meditations, in your silent prayers, in every act of kindness, feel this sacred current alive and waiting. Let humility protect it, let devotion feed it, and let divine grace guide it upward until the day dawns when you, too, walk as a master of energy, free in spirit, and radiant with the eternal joy of divine communion. May every breath you take draw you closer to this freedom. May every thought you think be lifted by this hidden power. And may you always remember, you are not a seeker alone in darkness. You are already a child of the infinite, and divine energy, perfectly alive within you, is calling you home. "5,000 years ago, the great rishis discovered something extraordinary about the human nervous system, that when you combine sacred sound with rhythmic movement, you can literally reprogram your consciousness in ways that seem impossible to the modern mind. I've been practicing the walking mantra Om Namah Shivaya for over 3 decades, and what I've experienced defies everything our culture teaches about the limitations of human potential. Today, I'm going to reveal why this simple practice has the power to transform not just your spiritual life, but your physical health, emotional well-being, and connection to the divine intelligence that governs all creation. In the next 45 minutes, you'll discover the complete science of walking mantra meditation, why Om Namah Shivaya is considered the most powerful mantra for spiritual transformation, how combining it with rhythmic walking creates neurological changes that modern science is just beginning to understand, and the specific techniques that turn this ancient practice into a direct pathway to expanded consciousness. You'll learn the correct pronunciation, breathing patterns, and walking rhythms that maximize the mantra's transformative power. Plus, how to adapt this practice for your daily life, whether you have 5 minutes or 5 hours. Most importantly, you'll understand why this isn't just a meditation technique. It's a complete lifestyle practice that can transform every aspect of your existence into an offering of devotion and service. I know what you might be thinking, Yogananda. I've tried mantras before, and while they felt peaceful in the moment, they didn't create the deep transformation I was seeking. How is this different from just repeating positive affirmations while walking? This is the crucial distinction that most teachers miss completely. Walking mantra isn't about using your mind to change your consciousness. It's about using sacred sound vibration to bypass the mental barriers that keep you trapped in limited awareness. When you practice Om Namah Shivaya correctly, you're not just thinking spiritual thoughts, you're literally restructuring your energetic field through the combination of movement, breath, and primordial sound frequencies that have been proven effective for thousands of years. The walking component isn't just gentle exercise. It's a way of integrating the mantra's transformative power into your entire nervous system, creating changes that persist long after your formal practice ends. Today's journey will reveal 5 profound dimensions of walking mantra practice. First, I'll share the spiritual science behind Om Namah Shivaya, why this particular combination of sounds carries such transformative power, and how it affects your consciousness on levels that go far deeper than mental relaxation. Then we'll explore the art of sacred walking, how to transform ordinary movement into a form of moving meditation that aligns your entire being with cosmic rhythm. We'll dive deep into the integration techniques that allow this practice to naturally weave itself into your daily activities, so you're not just meditating for 30 minutes a day, but living from a meditative state throughout your entire life. I'll share the advanced methods I've discovered over decades of practice, breathing patterns, visualization techniques, and energy work that can accelerate your progress exponentially. Finally, we'll discuss how walking mantra serves not just personal transformation, but becomes a form of service to the collective consciousness of humanity. But here's what might surprise you most. This practice doesn't require you to believe anything or adopt any particular spiritual worldview. The transformative effects of combining movement, breath, and sacred sound are so immediate and tangible that skeptics often become the most dedicated practitioners after just a few sessions. Now, here's something that will fundamentally change how you understand the relationship between sound and consciousness. Most people think of mantras as positive words that help calm the mind, but what I'm about to reveal goes far deeper than mental relaxation or emotional soothing. When you understand the true science behind Om Namah Shivaya, you'll see why this particular combination of sounds has been revered as the most transformative mantra in the entire Sanskrit tradition. There are 2 types of spiritual practitioners working with sacred sound right now. One group treats mantras like mental techniques. They repeat words or phrases with their thinking mind, hoping that positive thoughts will eventually create positive experiences. They might feel some temporary peace or inspiration, but the deeper transformation they're seeking remains elusive because they're working only with the surface layer of consciousness. The other group understands something profound that most teachers never explain. They know that Sanskrit mantras aren't just meaningful words, they're acoustic formulas that directly affect the subtle energy structures of human consciousness. When you practice Om Namah Shivaya correctly, you're not trying to convince your mind of anything. You're using sound vibration to activate dormant spiritual capacities that exist in every human nervous system. The difference? They understand that consciousness itself is vibrational, and specific sound frequencies can tune your entire being to higher states of awareness, just like tuning forks can synchronize their vibrations when brought into proximity with each other. Getting this wrong means you'll spend years repeating mantras without ever accessing the profound states of consciousness they're designed to unlock. You might experience some mental calm or emotional comfort, but you'll miss the revolutionary transformation that occurs when sacred sound actually restructures your energetic field and opens channels of perception that most people never access in their entire lifetime. But understand the true nature of mantra practice, and you'll discover that Om Namah Shivaya is literally a technology for consciousness expansion, a precise acoustic method for aligning your individual awareness with cosmic intelligence itself. Let me share exactly how this works, because the mechanism is both scientifically verifiable and spiritually profound. Modern neuroscience has discovered that specific sound frequencies create measurable changes in brainwave patterns, hormone production, and nervous system function. But the ancient rishis knew this thousands of years before we had instruments to measure these effects. They mapped out the exact sounds that optimize human consciousness for spiritual awakening, and Om Namah Shivaya represents the culmination of that research. Each syllable of this mantra affects different aspects of your being. Om, the primordial sound, resonates in your chest and creates coherence between your heart and brain rhythms. Na activates the energy centers in your lower body, grounding you in earthly awareness while maintaining spiritual connection. Ma opens your heart center, cultivating the unconditional love that's essential for higher consciousness. She stimulates your throat chakra, awakening your power of sacred expression. Va activates your third eye, opening channels of inner vision and intuitive knowing. Ya resonates at the crown of your head, connecting you directly to cosmic consciousness. When you repeat this sequence rhythmically, you're not just making sounds, you're systematically activating and harmonizing every level of your being. It's like playing a cosmic scale that tunes your entire consciousness to its highest potential. But here's where it becomes truly extraordinary. The ancient texts describe Om Namah Shivaya as a Maha Mantra, a great mantra that contains within itself all other spiritual practices. The meaning is profound. Om represents the sound of creation itself. Nama means I bow or I surrender, and Shivaya refers to the consciousness that both creates and transcends all creation. So when you repeat this mantra, you're essentially saying, I surrender my limited self to the unlimited consciousness that is the source and substance of all existence. This isn't just a beautiful philosophy, it's a precise instruction for consciousness transformation. When you genuinely surrender your separate sense of self through the vehicle of sacred sound, what remains is pure awareness itself. And this awareness, the sages discovered, is not just peaceful or blissful, it's creative, intelligent, and infinitely loving. I experienced this directly during a particularly profound walking meditation about 15 years into my practice. I was repeating Om Namah Shivaya while walking along a mountain path, when suddenly the meaning of the mantra became not just intellectual understanding, but lived reality. With each repetition, I felt my sense of being a separate individual dissolving, until there was just walking happening, just sound arising, just consciousness aware of itself in infinite expressions. For about an hour, there was no me practicing a technique. There was just the pure intelligence of existence expressing itself as walking, as chanting, as the trees and sky and earth all participating in one cosmic celebration. When ordinary awareness gradually returned, I understood why the ancient masters called this mantra a direct path to liberation. But you don't need years of practice to begin experiencing these profound effects. The beauty of Om Namah Shivaya is that it starts working immediately, even if you're just beginning. The sound frequencies themselves carry the transmission of awakened consciousness, so every repetition plants seeds of transformation that will unfold naturally as you continue the practice. The key is understanding that you're not trying to achieve anything through effort or concentration. You're simply offering yourself as a vehicle for these sacred sounds to do their natural work of consciousness, purification, and expansion. This is why the mantra includes the word Nama, surrender. The more completely you can release your personal agenda and allow the mantra to practice itself through you, the more powerful its effects become. Now, what I'm about to share might seem counterintuitive at first, but it's based on a profound understanding of how spiritual transformation actually occurs in the human nervous system. Most meditation teaches you to sit still and minimize external stimulation so you can go within and find peace. But the ancient masters who developed walking mantra understood something that modern spirituality has largely forgotten: that movement and sound, when combined skillfully, can actually accelerate your spiritual evolution more than stillness and silence alone. Think about this for a moment. Your nervous system evolved over millions of years to integrate consciousness through physical activity, not through sitting motionless for hours. Your ancestors accessed transcendent states through dance, chanting, rhythmic movement, and sacred ritual practices that engage the whole person rather than just the mind sitting in meditation. When you combine Om Namah Shivaya with conscious walking, you're working with your natural neurology instead of against it. The rhythmic movement helps integrate the mantra's transformative effects throughout your entire body, while the repetitive stepping creates a natural rhythm that supports deep states of concentration without the mental strain that often accompanies seated meditation. Walking also keeps you gently connected to the physical world while you explore expanded states of consciousness. This prevents the dissociation or spacing out that some people experience in traditional meditation, and it makes the insights and peace you discover immediately applicable to your daily life activities. I discovered this principle powerfully during my early years of practice. I had been struggling with traditional sitting meditation. My mind would wander constantly, my body would become restless, and I often felt more agitated after practice than before it. But the first time I tried walking while repeating Om Namah Shivaya, something clicked immediately. The rhythm of my steps seemed to carry the mantra deeper into my consciousness than mental repetition ever had. Within just a few minutes, I entered a state of alert relaxation that I had never achieved through sitting practice. My awareness became both focused and expansive, simultaneously completely absorbed in the mantra while remaining aware of my surroundings. Most importantly, this integrated state of consciousness continued throughout my day instead of disappearing the moment I stopped meditating. The secret is that walking engages what neuroscientists call your bilateral brain, the coordination between left and right hemispheres that creates optimal states for learning, creativity, and spiritual insight. When you walk rhythmically while repeating a mantra, you're creating the ideal neurological conditions for consciousness transformation. But here's what makes this practice truly revolutionary. You can do it anywhere, anytime, without anyone knowing you're meditating. Unlike sitting meditation, which requires special circumstances and often feels separate from real life, walking mantra seamlessly integrates spiritual practice into your ordinary activities. The correct technique is beautifully simple, yet profoundly effective. Begin walking at whatever pace feels natural and comfortable. This isn't about physical exercise, so there's no need to walk fast or cover great distances. As you settle into a steady rhythm, begin silently repeating Om Namah Shivaya in coordination with your steps. There are several ways to coordinate the mantra with your walking. The most common method is to say one syllable with each step, Om with the first step, Na with the second, Ma with the third, Shi with the fourth, Va with the fifth, Ya with the sixth, then begin again with Om on the seventh step. This creates a flowing, rhythmic cycle that naturally draws your attention deeper into the practice. Alternatively, you can repeat the entire mantra with each step, so every footfall is accompanied by the complete Om Namah Shivaya. This method works especially well for slower, more contemplative walking. Some practitioners prefer to coordinate the mantra with their breathing rather than their steps, inhaling on Om Namah and exhaling on Shivaya, or taking a complete breath cycle for each repetition of the full mantra. The most important thing is finding a rhythm that feels natural and sustainable for you. The mantra should flow effortlessly with your movement and breathing, not feel forced or mechanical. Start with whichever method appeals to you, and trust that your practice will naturally evolve as you develop greater sensitivity to the relationship between sound, breath, and movement. As you walk and chant, allow your attention to rest gently on the sound of the mantra rather than trying to concentrate intensely. This is a practice of relaxed awareness, not effortful focus. If your mind wanders to other thoughts, simply notice that wandering has occurred and gently return your attention to the mantra without any self-judgment or struggle. The walking itself should be conscious and deliberate, but not stiff or unnatural. Feel your feet connecting with the earth, notice the rhythm of your movement, and allow the simple act of walking to become a form of moving meditation. Some practitioners find it helpful to imagine that they're walking on sacred ground, or that each step is an offering to the divine consciousness that the mantra invokes. One of the most beautiful aspects of this practice is how it transforms your relationship with ordinary movement. Once you've established a regular walking mantra practice, you'll find that every time you walk, whether you're commuting to work, moving through your home, or taking a walk for exercise, becomes an opportunity for spiritual communion. This is where the true power of walking mantra reveals itself. You're not just adding another meditation technique to your spiritual toolkit. You're discovering how to live in a constant state of devotional awareness, where every movement becomes prayer and every breath becomes an offering of love to the cosmos. The ancient pilgrimage traditions understood this profound truth. When spiritual seekers walked hundreds or thousands of miles to reach sacred sites, they weren't just traveling from one place to another, They were using the journey itself as a transformative practice. Each step became an act of surrender, each mile a deepening of faith, each day a lesson in trusting the intelligence that guides all movement in the universe. You can access this same transformative power without leaving your neighborhood. When you practice walking mantra with sincere devotion, every path becomes a pilgrimage route, every destination becomes sacred, and every step becomes an opportunity to dissolve the illusion of separation between yourself and the divine consciousness that moves through all creation. But here's where it becomes truly practical for contemporary life. The beauty of walking mantra is that it doesn't require you to dramatically alter your schedule or lifestyle. Instead, it transforms activities you're already doing into opportunities for spiritual practice. This seamless integration is what makes walking mantra so sustainable and effective for long-term transformation. Now, what I'm about to share will solve one of the biggest challenges that sincere spiritual seekers face in our modern world. You've probably experienced this yourself. You establish a beautiful meditation practice that works wonderfully when you have perfect conditions. But the moment life gets busy or stressful, your practice becomes the first thing to disappear from your schedule. Most traditional meditation requires you to find quiet space, uninterrupted time, and optimal conditions to be effective. But walking mantra operates according to completely different principles that make it not just compatible with busy modern life, but actually enhanced by it. Think about how much time you spend walking during an average day. Walking to your car, through parking lots, up and down stairs, from room to room in your home, through stores and offices, down hallways and sidewalks. Most people walk for at least 30 to 60 minutes per day without even thinking about a time that could be transformed into profound spiritual practice without adding a single minute to your schedule. The secret is learning what I call invisible practice ways of engaging with walking mantra that are completely internal and undetectable to others around you. When you master these techniques, you can maintain deep spiritual practice in any environment without appearing different from anyone else. The foundation of invisible practice is silent repetition. Instead of chanting the mantra audibly, you repeat Om Namah Shivaya internally while maintaining normal walking pace and appearing completely ordinary to external observers. This internal repetition is just as powerful as audible chanting, in some ways more so, because it requires greater attention and creates more subtle but profound effects on your consciousness. Start by practicing silent walking mantra in private settings where you feel completely comfortable in your home, garden, or a quiet natural area where you won't be disturbed. Once you're familiar with the internal rhythm of the practice, you can gradually begin using it in more public environments. The key is maintaining natural, relaxed awareness rather than trying to concentrate so intensely that you become disconnected from your surroundings. You want to remain fully present and responsive to your environment while simultaneously enjoying the deep peace and clarity that arise from mantra practice. I've developed this invisible practice over decades of integrating walking mantra into every aspect of daily life. I can practice while walking through airports, shopping in stores, moving through cities, attending social gatherings. Any situation where I'm walking from one place to another becomes an opportunity for spiritual communion that actually enhances my engagement with whatever I'm doing. The beautiful paradox is that when you're grounded in mantra practice, you become more present and attentive to your environment, not less. The constant repetition of Om Namah Shivaya creates a foundation of peace and clarity that allows you to respond to life circumstances from wisdom rather than reactive habit patterns. For busy schedules, you can practice what I call micro sessions, short periods of walking mantra that fit naturally into your existing routine. Even 2 or 3 minutes of conscious practice while walking to your car, moving between meetings, or taking a bathroom break can have cumulative effects that transform your entire day. The commute to work becomes a daily spiritual retreat. Walking the dog becomes devotional practice. Moving through your home while doing household tasks becomes moving meditation. Shopping, traveling, exercising, every activity that involves walking becomes an opportunity to deepen your connection with the sacred. But perhaps most importantly, walking mantra gives you immediate access to peace and centeredness whenever you feel stressed, overwhelmed, or emotionally reactive. Instead of waiting until you can get home and meditate, you can simply begin repeating Om Namah Shivaya while walking to your next destination, and within minutes feel your nervous system settling into the profound calm that this practice naturally creates. This immediate accessibility is what makes walking mantra such a practical tool for emotional regulation and stress management. You always have your feet, your breath, and your capacity for sacred sound, everything you need to shift your consciousness from anxiety to peace, from reactivity to wisdom, from feeling disconnected to experiencing your inherent unity with all life. I've used this practice to navigate some of the most challenging periods of my life. During times of loss, uncertainty, conflict, and major life transitions, walking mantra became my anchor to sanity and peace. No matter how turbulent external circumstances became, I could always return to the rhythm of Om Namah Shivaya and rediscover the unshakable foundation of consciousness that exists beneath all temporary experiences. This brings us to something truly profound that happens when you establish consistent walking mantra practice over months and years. The effects begin to compound and deepen in ways that go far beyond what you might expect from such a simple technique. What starts as a peaceful meditation practice gradually becomes a complete transformation of how you experience yourself and move through the world. What I discovered next changed my entire understanding of what spiritual practice can accomplish when it's approached with genuine devotion and consistency. After several years of daily walking mantra practice, I began experiencing what I can only describe as spontaneous states of heightened awareness that would arise during ordinary activities throughout my day. These weren't dramatic, mystical experiences or altered states that separated me from normal functioning. Instead, they were moments of crystal clear perception where the interconnectedness of all life became as obvious as the sky or the ground beneath my feet. I would be walking to the store or moving through my home, silently repeating Om Namah Shivaya, when suddenly the boundaries between inner and outer experience would dissolve and there would just be awareness, aware of itself in infinite expressions. What made these experiences so transformative wasn't their mystical quality, but their utter naturalness. They showed me that expanded consciousness isn't something exotic that requires special conditions or intense effort. It's actually our natural state when the mind isn't caught up in its usual patterns of thinking and reacting. The walking mantra practice had gradually dissolved the mental habits that normally obscure this expanded awareness, not through force or struggle, but through the gentle, persistent application of sacred sound and rhythmic movement. Each repetition of the mantra was like a drop of water, gradually wearing away the rock of conditioned consciousness, until what remained was the pure awareness that had always been present but previously hidden. This is where the advanced techniques I want to share with you become truly powerful. When you've established a foundation of regular walking mantra practice, you can begin incorporating visualization, energy work, and breath techniques that accelerate your spiritual evolution exponentially. The first advanced technique involves working consciously with your energy centers while practicing walking mantra. As you repeat Om Namah Shivaya, imagine the sound vibration moving through different chakras or energy centers in your body. You might visualize golden light spiraling up from the base of your spine to the crown of your head with each repetition, or imagine each syllable of the mantra activating and harmonizing specific energy centers. This isn't just visualization for its own sake. You're learning to direct the transformative power of sacred sound to areas of your being that need healing, activation, or development. Many practitioners find that this technique helps resolve emotional blocks, increases vitality, and opens channels of intuitive awareness that enhance every aspect of their spiritual development. The second advanced method involves what I call environmental blessing, using your walking mantra practice as a way of offering healing energy to the spaces and beings you encounter. As you walk and chant, imagine that the sacred vibration of Om Namah Shivaya is radiating out from your being and blessing everything in your environment with peace, love, and spiritual awakening. This practice transforms you from someone who's simply doing spiritual practice for personal benefit into someone who becomes a conscious agent of healing and transformation wherever you go. You're not trying to change anyone or anything directly. You're simply offering the highest vibration you can maintain and trusting that this gift serves the well-being of all life in ways that may not be immediately visible. The third advanced technique involves group practice, which amplifies the effects of walking mantra in ways that can be truly extraordinary. When multiple people practice walking mantra together, their individual energy fields begin to resonate and synchronize, creating what researchers call field effects that are much more powerful than the sum of individual practices. I've experienced this group amplification many times during retreats and gatherings, and the results are often profound beyond what any participant could achieve through solo practice. The collective repetition of Om Namah Shivaya seems to create a portal through which divine consciousness can flow more freely, blessing all participants with deeper states of peace, love, and spiritual insight. But perhaps the most advanced technique is what I call continuous practice, learning to maintain the inner repetition of Om Namah Shivaya throughout all your daily activities, not just during formal walking meditation. This doesn't mean becoming obsessed with the mantra or disconnected from practical responsibilities. Instead, it means allowing the sacred sound to become like a gentle background music of consciousness that supports and enhances everything you do. When you reach this level of integration, the distinction between spiritual practice and ordinary life completely dissolves. Every moment becomes an offering of devotion, every activity becomes a form of worship, and every experience becomes an opportunity to deepen your connection with the divine consciousness that expresses itself as your individual life. This continuous practice is what the ancient traditions called a japa japa, the repetition that repeats itself. At this stage, you're not making effort to remember the mantra is remembering itself through you. Your individual consciousness has become so aligned with the sacred vibration that Om Namah Shivaya flows spontaneously through your awareness like a river flowing naturally toward the ocean. Reaching this level of practice doesn't happen overnight, but every step along the way brings profound benefits that make the journey itself deeply fulfilling. The key is approaching the practice with patience, devotion, and trust in the natural intelligence that governs all authentic spiritual development. But what I want to share with you now reveals why your individual walking mantra practice serves something infinitely greater than personal transformation, and understanding this larger context will give your practice a depth of meaning that can sustain you through any challenge while connecting you to the most important work happening on our planet right now. Every time you repeat Om Namah Shivaya while walking consciously through the world, you're participating in what I call the global mantra field, an invisible network of sacred sound that's helping to heal and awaken human consciousness on a planetary scale. This isn't metaphorical language, it's based on the same principles that govern how individual consciousness affects collective consciousness through what scientists call morphic resonance. When you practice walking mantra with sincere devotion, you're not just transforming your own awareness, you're contributing to a field of consciousness that makes it easier for everyone on earth to access peace, love, and spiritual wisdom. Every repetition of the sacred sound adds to this collective field, and every person who begins practicing authentic mantra meditation strengthens the field for all other practitioners. This is why the ancient masters taught that individual spiritual practice is simultaneously the most personal and most universal service you can offer. When you align your consciousness with divine intelligence through sacred sound, you become a healing presence in the world whether you're conscious of it or not. Think about what our planet needs right now. More love, more peace, more wisdom, more connection between all forms of life. These aren't just beautiful ideals. They're practical necessities for human survival and thriving. And they can't be created through political action or technological innovation alone. They require a fundamental shift in human consciousness that can only happen one person at a time, one practice at a time, one moment of genuine spiritual connection at a time. Your walking mantra practice is your unique contribution to this collective awakening. Every step taken in devotion, every breath offered in love, every repetition of Om Namah Shivaya spoken with sincerity adds to the critical mass of consciousness that's working to birth a new level of human awareness on Earth. But this service happens naturally as a byproduct of authentic practice, not as a goal you're trying to achieve. The most important thing is your sincere engagement with the practice itself. The rest unfolds spontaneously as you deepen your connection to the sacred sound and allow it to transform your experience from the inside out. As we come toward the completion of our journey together today, I want to acknowledge the profound courage it takes to commit to genuine spiritual practice in a world that offers countless distractions and very little support for the inner work that leads to lasting transformation. Walking mantra practice will challenge you to develop qualities that our culture doesn't particularly value: patience, devotion, consistency, Surrender while offering rewards that can't be measured in external terms, but represent the deepest fulfillment available to human consciousness. There will be days when the practice feels effortless and inspired, when every step resonates with divine presence and every repetition of Om Namah Shivaya opens new dimensions of peace and understanding. And there will be days when the practice feels mechanical or difficult, when your mind resists the repetition and your emotions rebel against the discipline. Both experiences are necessary parts of the journey. The key is showing up consistently regardless of how you feel, trusting that the practice is working on levels deeper than your ordinary awareness can perceive, and allowing the sacred sound to do its purifying work without interference from your expectations or judgments. The transformation that walking mantra creates happens gradually and naturally, like the way a tree grows or a river carves its path through rock. You might not notice dramatic changes from day to day, but after months and years of consistent practice, you'll look back and see that you've become a fundamentally different person, more peaceful, more loving, more aligned with your authentic nature and life purpose. My beloved friends, what we've explored today reveals that the path to spiritual transformation doesn't require withdrawing from the world. It requires bringing sacred awareness into every moment of your existence. Om Namah Shivaya isn't just a mantra to recite. It's a living vibration that can transform your entire life into a walking prayer. When you combine this sacred sound with conscious movement and rhythmic breathing, you create a practice that serves your highest evolution while remaining completely accessible and natural. The spiritual science we've uncovered shows that sacred sound vibration works with your natural neurology to create profound states of consciousness that are both deeply personal and universally beneficial. The art of sacred walking transforms ordinary movement into devotional practice that integrates seamlessly with modern life. The advanced techniques accelerate your progress while keeping you grounded in practical wisdom, and the understanding that your practice serves the collective awakening of humanity gives every step profound meaning and purpose. You've learned that this ancient practice doesn't require perfect conditions or elaborate preparation, just your willingness to combine walking, breathing, and sacred sound with sincere devotion. Whether you have 5 minutes or 5 hours, whether you're in a forest or a city street, whether you're alone or surrounded by people, you now have access to a transformative practice that can shift your consciousness immediately and sustainably. I invite you to begin this sacred practice immediately. Tomorrow morning, find a quiet place where you can walk for just 10 minutes. It could be in your garden, around your neighborhood, or even back and forth in your living room. Begin walking at a comfortable pace and silently repeat Om Namah Shivaya with each step, allowing the rhythm of your movement to guide the rhythm of the mantra. Don't worry about perfect pronunciation or deep spiritual experiences. Simply allow the combination of walking, breathing, and sacred sound to work its natural magic. Notice how this simple practice affects your energy, your mood, and your sense of connection to something greater than yourself. Pay attention to how the practice evolves naturally as you continue. Some days you might feel called to walk faster or slower, to emphasize different syllables of the mantra, or to incorporate breathing techniques that arise spontaneously. Trust these impulses. They're signs that the practice is alive and responsive to your unique spiritual development. Remember that every step taken in devotion contributes to your own awakening and serves the healing of our world. You're not just doing a personal meditation technique, you're participating in the most important transformation happening on our planet. The evolution of human consciousness from fear to love, from separation to unity, from unconscious living to awakened service. But here's something I haven't shared with you yet. There's an advanced walking mantra technique that I learned from a Himalayan master that can accelerate your spiritual progress by decades. It involves a specific breathing pattern combined with visualization and energy work that activates dormant spiritual centers in your body. This practice is so powerful that it was traditionally only taught to serious disciples after years of preparation, but I'm going to reveal it completely in my next video. This technique doesn't just deepen your meditation, it awakens psychic abilities, healing powers, and direct communication with your spiritual guides. It's called the Mahamudra walking practice, and it transforms the simple repetition of Om Namah Shivaya into a complete system for rapid spiritual evolution that can accomplish in months what other methods take lifetimes to achieve. The practice involves coordinating the mantra with specific hand positions that activate energy meridians in your body, combined with breathing techniques that channel life force directly to your spiritual centers. When practiced correctly, this method can trigger spontaneous states of samadhi, activate healing abilities that can benefit others, and open channels of direct guidance from realized masters who exist in higher dimensions of consciousness. This isn't just advanced meditation, it's initiation into the ancient lineage of walking yogis who have used movement and sound to achieve complete spiritual realization while serving as bridges between the earthly and divine realms. These masters are calling to souls who are ready to accelerate their evolution and become conscious agents of transformation during these crucial times on Earth. If you're ready to take your walking mantra practice to levels that most seekers never imagined possible, click the video appearing on your screen right now. The masters who taught me this method are guiding me to share it with serious practitioners who understand that spiritual evolution isn't just personal development, it's preparation for conscious service to the awakening of all life. Your practice of Om Namah Shivaya has already begun preparing you for this advanced transmission. Every step you've taken in devotion, every repetition offered with love, every moment of surrender to the sacred sound has been building the foundation necessary to receive these profound teachings safely and effectively. The time for casual spiritual practice is ending. The world needs awakened beings who can access higher wisdom, channel healing energy, and serve as clear conduits for the cosmic intelligence that's working to transform human civilization. This advanced practice will prepare you to fulfill that sacred calling while experiencing levels of peace, love, and spiritual power that will amaze you. Don't keep the masters waiting. Your soul knows it's ready for this next level of training. Click now and step into your destiny as a conscious agent of planetary transformation. The future of our world depends on individuals like you who are willing to embrace their full spiritual potential and use it in service to all life. The walking path of Om Namah Shivaya has brought you to this threshold. Your guides are holding space for you to cross it. Answer their call. When déjà vu strikes, you're not imagining things. You're experiencing a moment when the curtain between lifetimes becomes thin enough for your soul to remember. That person who feels strangely familiar, that place you've never been but somehow know, that situation that seems like it's happened before, these aren't coincidences. They're karmic appointments your soul made before this birth to resolve unfinished business from the past. Every déjà vu experience is actually a divine reminder of why you're here and what you came to accomplish. What you think is just a curious brain glitch is actually one of the most profound spiritual experiences available to human consciousness. Your eternal self breaking through temporary forgetfulness to guide you toward your highest destiny. In the next 45 minutes, you're going to discover the profound spiritual truth behind déjà vu experiences and how they reveal your soul's journey through multiple lifetimes. You'll learn why these moments happen exactly when they do, how to recognize the different types of karmic memories that surface through déjà vu, and most importantly, how to use these experiences as guidance for fulfilling your spiritual purpose in this life. You'll understand the connection between déjà vu and your relationships, why certain places trigger these experiences, and how these moments of recognition are actually opportunities to heal past life karma and accelerate your spiritual evolution. This knowledge will transform déjà vu from a curious phenomenon into a powerful tool for spiritual awakening. By the end of this teaching, you'll know how to interpret these soul memories, what actions to take when déjà vu occurs, and how to use these karmic glimpses to make decisions that align with your highest spiritual purpose. You'll never experience déjà vu the same way again. Instead of dismissing it, you'll welcome it as divine guidance from your eternal self. I know how puzzling déjà vu can be. That moment when everything feels eerily familiar even though you're certain you've never experienced it before. Science tells you it's just neurons misfiring or memory playing tricks on you. Psychology explains it as pattern recognition gone wrong. But deep in your heart, you know these experiences feel too meaningful, too precisely timed, too emotionally charged to be mere accidents of brain chemistry. The truth is, your intuition is right. These moments are far more significant than science understands, because science only recognizes one lifetime of experience. But your soul has lived many lifetimes, accumulated vast experiences, formed deep relationships, and created karma that must be resolved across multiple incarnations. Déjà vu is one of the few ways your immortal consciousness can break through the veil of forgetfulness that covers your past life memories. These experiences happen exactly when you need guidance, exactly when you're approaching people or situations that are karmically significant, exactly when your soul needs to remember something crucial about its eternal journey. What I'm going to share today comes from decades of inner communion with divine wisdom, from witnessing how these experiences unfold in countless lives, and from understanding the ancient teachings about reincarnation and karma that explain why déjà vu occurs. Today, we'll explore 4 profound dimensions of déjà vu that will reveal its true spiritual significance. First, I'll explain what's actually happening in your consciousness during these experiences, how your soul's eternal memory temporarily overrides your brain's single lifetime perspective, and why these breakthroughs happen at specific moments rather than randomly. Then, we'll discover the different types of karmic recognition that manifest as déjà vu, past life relationships, significant locations, repeated situations, and spiritual lessons that your soul is trying to complete. You'll learn to distinguish between different kinds of déjà vu experiences and what each type is trying to tell you. Next, I'll teach you how to work with déjà vu consciously, the practices that help you receive more complete guidance from these experiences, how to access deeper past life memories, and most importantly, how to use these moments to heal karmic patterns and advance your spiritual evolution. Finally, we'll explore how understanding déjà vu transforms your entire perspective on life purpose, relationships, and spiritual growth. You'll see how these experiences are actually proof of your soul's immortality and evidence of the divine plan that guides your journey through multiple incarnations. But here's what might surprise you most. Déjà vu isn't just about remembering the past, it's about recognizing the future. Your soul often experiences déjà vu when you're approaching situations that will be crucial for your spiritual growth, giving you advance notice that something important is about to unfold. What we'll discover together will give you a completely new understanding of why you're here, who the important people in your life really are, and how your current experiences connect to your soul's eternal journey. You'll realize that déjà vu is actually one of the most valuable spiritual experiences available to human consciousness. So prepare to see these mysterious moments through the eyes of eternity and discover how your soul's memory can guide you toward your highest destiny. My dear friend, to understand what really happens during déjà vu, you must first understand the profound difference between your brain's memory and your soul's memory. Your brain can only remember experiences from this current lifetime, starting from birth and accumulating forward. But your soul carries the memory of every experience it has ever had across countless lifetimes, spanning thousands of years. Normally, these two memory systems operate completely separately. Your brain handles day-to-day memory, while your soul's vast storehouse of past life experiences remains hidden beneath the threshold of ordinary consciousness. This separation is necessary for most people, because if you could remember all your past lifetimes simultaneously, the overwhelming complexity would make it impossible to focus on the lessons you came to learn in this current incarnation. But occasionally, under specific conditions, the barrier between these two memory systems becomes thin enough for your soul's eternal perspective to break through into your conscious awareness. This breakthrough is what you experience as déjà vu, a moment when your immortal consciousness recognizes something from its vast storehouse of past life experience. Think of it this way. Imagine you're watching a movie, completely absorbed in the story unfolding on screen. Suddenly, for just a moment, you remember that you're actually sitting in a theater watching actors perform a scripted drama. That moment of stepping back from the story to remember the larger reality is similar to what happens during déjà vu. Your soul momentarily steps back from this lifetime story to remember the larger reality of your eternal existence. This breakthrough doesn't happen randomly. Your soul's memory surfaces exactly when you're approaching people, places, or situations that have karmic significance for your spiritual evolution. It's like a cosmic GPS system alerting you, pay attention. This moment is important for your soul's journey. I learned this truth personally during a profound déjà vu experience early in my spiritual seeking. I was visiting a temple I had never seen before, yet every detail felt achingly familiar. As I walked through the courtyards, powerful emotions arose that seemed to have no connection to my current lifetime. The architecture, the placement of the shrines, Even the quality of light filtering through the trees, everything felt like returning to a beloved home after a long absence. In deep meditation that night, I asked for understanding of this experience. What came through inner communion was a vivid recognition of having spent many years in spiritual practice at that exact location in a previous incarnation. My soul was remembering not just the physical place, but the devotion, the struggles, and the spiritual growth that had occurred there in another lifetime. This recognition transformed my understanding of déjà vu from curious anomaly to sacred communication from my eternal self. I realized that my soul had guided me to that temple not by coincidence, but because reconnecting with that place of former spiritual practice would help awaken dormant spiritual qualities needed for my current lifetime's growth. The key insight is this: déjà vu occurs when your current lifetime's experiences align with patterns, relationships, or locations that were significant in past incarnations. Your soul recognizes these alignments and tries to alert your conscious mind that something karmically important is happening. But why does the recognition feel so strange and incomplete? Why doesn't your soul simply show you clear past life memories instead of this vague sense of familiarity? The answer lies in the divine wisdom that governs reincarnation. If you could remember past lifetimes completely, you might become stuck in old patterns rather than growing into new ones. You might relate to people based on who they were in previous incarnations rather than who they're becoming in this one. So your soul provides just enough recognition to alert you to karmic significance, while leaving space for new growth and evolution. Déjà vu is like a gentle nudge from your eternal self saying, "This person, place, situation is important for your spiritual evolution. Pay attention and be open to what needs to unfold." The timing of déjà vu experiences is also deeply significant. These breakthroughs don't happen during casual moments. They occur at karmic crossroads when your soul needs to make choices that will affect your spiritual evolution. You might experience déjà vu when meeting someone who will become important in your spiritual growth, when approaching a location where past life healing can occur, or when facing a situation that offers opportunities to resolve old karmic patterns. Understanding this timing helps you recognize déjà vu as divine guidance rather than mere curiosity. When these experiences occur, your soul is essentially saying, "Stop, look, and listen. Something important for your spiritual journey is happening right now." The emotional quality of déjà vu experiences also carries important information. Pleasant, peaceful déjà vu often indicates recognition of positive past life connections, people you've loved before, places where you experience spiritual growth, situations where you serve divine purposes. This type of recognition feels like coming home and usually indicates that engaging deeply with the current situation will bring blessings and spiritual advancement. Uncomfortable or unsettling déjà vu, on the other hand, often indicates recognition of past life situations where karma was created that still needs to be resolved. You might feel déjà vu when encountering someone you had difficult relationships with in previous lifetimes, or when facing situations similar to those where you made choices that created negative karma. This type of recognition feels disturbing because your soul is alerting you to opportunities for healing and forgiveness. But here's the profound truth. Both types of déjà vu are gifts from your soul's wisdom. Pleasant recognition helps you identify the people and situations that will support your spiritual growth. Uncomfortable recognition alerts you to opportunities for healing past mistakes and evolving beyond old limitations. In both cases, your soul is providing guidance about how to make the most of your current incarnation's opportunities. The breakthrough of soul memory during déjà vu also explains why these experiences often feel more real and meaningful than ordinary memories. When your soul remembers, it doesn't just recall events, it re-experiences the consciousness states, emotional connections, and spiritual insights associated with past life experiences. This is why déjà vu can feel so profound and life-changing, even when you can't rationally explain what you're remembering. Modern science tries to explain déjà vu as neural misfiring or false memory creation, but these explanations fall short because they ignore the spiritual dimension of human consciousness. Your brain is simply the instrument through which your soul's eternal consciousness expresses in physical reality. When your soul needs to communicate important karmic information, it can override your brain's normal filtering mechanisms to deliver the guidance you need. This understanding transforms how you relate to déjà vu experiences. Instead of dismissing them as brain glitches, you begin to welcome them as communications from your wisest self, your eternal soul that has accumulated wisdom across many lifetimes and wants to share that wisdom to help you navigate your current spiritual journey. Every time you experience déjà vu, you're receiving proof that you are far more than your current personality, far older than your current body, and connected to a spiritual story that spans multiple incarnations. These moments are windows into your soul's eternal nature and evidence of the divine plan that guides your journey back to God. Now that you understand what creates déjà vu, let me help you recognize the different types of karmic recognition that can surface through these experiences. Each type carries specific information about your soul's journey and offers unique opportunities for spiritual growth and healing. The most common type is relationship déjà vu, that instant recognition you feel when meeting certain people, as if you've known them forever even though you've just met. This recognition indicates that your souls have shared significant experiences in past lifetimes and have returned together to continue your spiritual evolution through relationship. These karmic relationships fall into several categories, each with distinct characteristics. Soul family connections feel immediately comfortable and supportive. When you experience déjà vu with these individuals, it feels like reuniting with beloved family members after a long separation. These are souls who have supported your spiritual growth across multiple lifetimes and have returned to continue that loving service. I remember a student who described meeting her husband this way. The moment I saw him across the crowded room, I felt déjà vu so strong it took my breath away. It wasn't romantic attraction. It was deeper than that. It felt like my soul saying, "There you are. I've been looking for you." Their marriage became a beautiful partnership of mutual spiritual growth that blessed everyone around them. Karmic debt relationships create a different type of déjà vu. Recognition mixed with inexplicable discomfort or tension. These are souls with whom you have unfinished business from past lifetimes, situations where forgiveness, healing, or understanding still needs to occur. The déjà vu feels unsettling because your soul recognizes both the person and the unresolved karma that brought you together again. These relationships aren't punishments. They're opportunities for spiritual advancement through healing old wounds and transcending past limitations. When you recognize karmic debt through déjà vu, your soul is preparing you for the important spiritual work of forgiveness and release that can free both souls from old patterns. Teacher-student connections create déjà vu that feels charged with potential and learning. You might meet someone and immediately sense that this person has important wisdom to share with you, or conversely, that you have something crucial to teach them. These recognitions often feel accompanied by a sense of destiny or spiritual purpose. The second major category is location déjà vu, the powerful recognition you feel in certain places, especially those connected to significant past life experiences. These locations might be where you lived, worked, worshipped, or underwent important spiritual experiences in previous incarnations. Sacred location déjà vu occurs in temples, churches, monasteries, or natural power spots where you engaged in spiritual practice in past lifetimes. This recognition often feels profoundly peaceful and inspiring, like coming home to a place of deep spiritual connection. Your soul remembers the devotion, prayers, and spiritual growth that occurred there and wants to reconnect with those elevated consciousness states. Home location déjà vu happens in places where you lived ordinary but significant life experiences in past incarnations. You might walk into a house, wander through a town, or drive through countryside that feels achingly familiar despite being completely foreign to your current lifetime's experience. These recognitions often carry emotional undertones of love, loss, belonging, or longing. Trauma location déjà vu occurs in places where difficult or tragic experiences happened in past lifetimes. This type of recognition often feels uncomfortable or even frightening, but it offers powerful opportunities for healing past life trauma that may be affecting your current spiritual evolution. The third category is situation déjà vu, recognition of circumstances, challenges, or opportunities that repeat across lifetimes as your soul works to master particular spiritual lessons. These experiences help you recognize patterns in your soul's evolution and understand what lessons you're meant to complete in this incarnation. Pattern déjà vu occurs when you face situations similar to those you've encountered in past lifetimes, similar challenges, similar choices, similar opportunities for growth. This recognition helps you understand what spiritual lessons you're working on across multiple incarnations and how to apply wisdom gained from past experiences to current situations. I once counseled a woman who experienced intense déjà vu every time she faced situations requiring courage and leadership. Through meditation and past life exploration, she discovered that her soul had repeatedly incarnated in lifetimes where she had opportunities to stand up for truth and justice, but had often chosen safety over courage. Her current lifetime offered multiple opportunities to develop the spiritual courage she had been working on for many incarnations. Completion déjà vu happens when you're approaching situations that offer opportunities to resolve karmic patterns or complete spiritual lessons that have spanned multiple lifetimes. This recognition often feels significant and final, like approaching the culmination of a long spiritual journey. The fourth category is spiritual déjà vu, moments when you recognize your own divine nature or remember your eternal connection to God. These are perhaps the most profound déjà vu experiences, as they offer glimpses of your soul's ultimate identity beyond all incarnations. Divine recognition déjà vu occurs during moments of prayer, meditation, or spiritual practice, when you suddenly remember what it feels like to be in complete union with God. These experiences transcend personal memory to touch the universal spiritual truths that all souls eventually remember. Purpose déjà vu happens when you encounter activities, teachings, or forms of service that align perfectly with your soul's mission across lifetimes. You might hear certain spiritual teachings and feel immediate recognition, not because you've heard these exact words before, but because your soul remembers the truth they point toward. Each type of déjà vu carries its own gifts and guidance. Learning to distinguish between these different categories helps you understand what your soul is trying to communicate and how to respond appropriately to the spiritual opportunities these experiences reveal. The key is approaching each déjà vu experience with openness and spiritual curiosity rather than just psychological analysis. When recognition occurs, ask yourself, what is my soul trying to tell me? What karmic healing or spiritual growth is this experience offering? How can I honor this recognition in a way that serves my highest spiritual evolution? Understanding these different types of karmic recognition transforms déjà vu from mysterious anomaly into practical spiritual guidance. Your soul's memory becomes a trusted advisor, helping you navigate relationships, make important decisions, and recognize opportunities for spiritual advancement that might otherwise pass unnoticed. Now that you understand the different types of karmic recognition, let me teach you how to work with déjà vu experiences consciously to receive deeper guidance and accelerate your spiritual evolution. Most people experience déjà vu passively, noticing the strange feeling but then quickly returning to ordinary consciousness. But when you learn to work with these moments actively, they become powerful tools for spiritual awakening and karmic healing. The first key is learning to remain present and receptive when déjà vu occurs. Most people's initial reaction is to analyze the experience mentally, trying to figure out why the situation feels familiar or attempting to explain the recognition logically. This analytical approach immediately closes off your receptivity to the deeper spiritual information your soul is trying to communicate. Instead, when you feel déjà vu beginning, take a deep breath and consciously open your awareness. Rather than asking, why does this feel familiar? Ask, what is my soul trying to show me? This shift from analytical questioning to receptive openness allows deeper levels of recognition to surface. During the déjà vu experience, pay attention to all dimensions of the recognition. Notice not just the mental sense of familiarity, but also the emotional undertones, the physical sensations, and the spiritual atmosphere surrounding the experience. Each of these levels carries important information about the karmic significance of what you're encountering. Emotional undertones reveal the nature of past life connections. Feelings of love, joy, or peace indicate positive karmic relationships or locations that supported your spiritual growth. Feelings of sadness, fear, or tension suggest past life situations where healing or forgiveness is needed. Feelings of excitement or destiny often indicate opportunities for completing important spiritual lessons. Physical sensations during déjà vu can also carry guidance. Some people feel energy shifts in specific parts of their bodies during karmic recognition. Others experience temperature changes, tingling sensations, or changes in breathing patterns. These physical responses often provide clues about what type of past life experience is being recognized. The spiritual atmosphere surrounding déjà vu experiences, the overall quality of consciousness you feel, indicates the level of spiritual significance involved. Some déjà vu feels light and interesting, while other experiences carry a sense of profound importance or destiny. This atmospheric quality helps you understand how much attention and response the recognition deserves. After the initial déjà vu experience passes, engage in what I call recognition meditation, a specific practice for accessing deeper information about what your soul was trying to communicate. Find a quiet space as soon as possible after the experience and sit in meditation posture with your spine straight and your awareness turned inward. Begin by recreating the déjà vu experience in your consciousness. Visualize the person, place, or situation that triggered the recognition and allow yourself to re-experience the sense of familiarity that arose. Don't try to figure out the experience. Simply re-immerse yourself in the recognition consciousness. As you hold this recognition in your awareness, ask your soul directly, "Please show me what I need to understand about this experience. What past life connection or karmic lesson is this recognition revealing?" Then become completely receptive, allowing whatever information wants to surface to emerge naturally. Sometimes the response comes as visual images, scenes from past lifetimes that provide context for the current recognition. Other times you might receive emotional understanding about the nature of karmic relationships or lessons involved. Still other times the guidance comes as inner knowing or spoken wisdom about how to respond to the current situation. The key is remaining patient and receptive, rather than demanding specific types of information. Your soul will share what you need to know in the form that's most helpful for your current spiritual evolution. Some recognitions are meant to provide complete past life context, while others are simply meant to alert you to pay attention to unfolding opportunities. For deeper past life exploration, practice what I call thread-following meditation. When déjà vu reveals a connection to past lifetimes, you can use that recognition as a thread to guide you deeper into your soul's memory. This practice requires patience and should only be undertaken with sincere spiritual motivation rather than mere curiosity. Begin in deep meditation and once again reconnect with the déjà vu recognition. But instead of asking for information about the experience, simply follow the feeling of familiarity backward through time. Imagine following the thread of recognition back through years, decades, centuries, until you begin to sense the past life context that created the current recognition. This practice often reveals not just single past life connections, but patterns that have developed across multiple incarnations. You might discover that certain relationships or spiritual lessons have been repeating throughout many lifetimes as your soul works to achieve mastery in specific areas. One of my students used this technique after experiencing powerful déjà vu when meeting a new colleague who immediately triggered both attraction and inexplicable irritation. Through thread-following meditation, she discovered a pattern spanning several lifetimes where she and this soul had repeatedly been close friends who eventually had falling outs over questions of loyalty and trust. Understanding this pattern helped her recognize that their current meeting offered an opportunity to finally heal this recurring karma by consciously choosing trust and loyalty even when their personality differences created tension. By approaching the relationship with awareness of the deeper spiritual purpose involved, she was able to transform centuries of karmic conflict into genuine friendship. When déjà vu reveals karmic relationships that need healing, engage in what I call soul-level forgiveness practice. This goes deeper than ordinary forgiveness because it addresses patterns and wounds that may have accumulated across multiple lifetimes. Begin by recognizing that the difficult person in your current life is actually a soul who loves you enough to play challenging roles in your spiritual education. Even if they're causing pain or problems in your current experience, at the soul level, they volunteered to help you learn whatever lessons you need for your spiritual evolution. Visualize yourself and the other person as souls rather than personalities, beings of light who have chosen to incarnate together for mutual spiritual growth. See the divine essence within them that transcends whatever personality conflicts are occurring in your current relationship. From this soul-level perspective, offer forgiveness not just for whatever is happening in your current lifetime, but for all the ways you may have hurt each other across multiple incarnations. Ask for forgiveness for your own contribution to karmic conflicts, and extend forgiveness for theirs. This practice often creates remarkable healing in current relationships because it addresses the deeper, spiritual roots of conflict rather than just surface personality disagreements. Many students report that challenging relationships transform dramatically after sincere, soul-level forgiveness practice. The ultimate goal of working with déjà vu consciously is not just to satisfy curiosity about past lifetimes, but to use these recognitions to accelerate your spiritual evolution in your current incarnation. Every déjà vu experience offers opportunities for healing, growth, and movement toward divine realization. When you approach these experiences with spiritual sincerity and conscious practice, déjà vu becomes a regular form of guidance from your eternal self. Your soul begins providing more frequent and detailed communications because it recognizes that you're paying attention and using the guidance wisely. This conscious work with déjà vu gradually awakens what I call soul consciousness, awareness of your eternal nature that transcends any single lifetime. You begin to see your current relationships, challenges, and opportunities from the perspective of your soul's long journey toward God, rather than just your personality's immediate desires and fears. This expanded awareness brings tremendous peace and clarity to daily life. You understand that nothing happens by accident, that difficult people are actually spiritual teachers, and that every experience offers opportunities for spiritual growth. Déjà vu becomes not just recognition of the past, but preview of the spiritual possibilities available in each present moment. When you truly understand the spiritual significance of déjà vu and learn to work with these experiences consciously, your entire perspective on life transforms. You begin to see your current existence not as a random collection of experiences, but as a carefully orchestrated spiritual curriculum designed to complete your soul's evolution toward divine realization. This transformed understanding affects every aspect of how you live. Your relationships take on deeper meaning when you recognize that the important people in your life are actually souls with whom you've shared multiple incarnations of growth, learning, and love. Even difficult relationships become sacred when you understand their opportunities for healing karmic patterns and developing unconditional love. The recognition that déjà vu reveals soul connections helps you identify your true spiritual family, not just your biological relatives, but the souls who have been supporting your spiritual evolution across lifetimes. These recognitions create profound bonds that transcend ordinary friendship or family affection because they're based on eternal love rather than temporary personality preferences. I remember a student who experienced immediate déjà vu when joining our spiritual community. She felt she had known everyone for years, despite meeting most people for the first time. Through meditation on these recognitions, she discovered that many community members were souls with whom she had shared past lifetimes of spiritual practice and service. This recognition transformed her approach to spiritual life. Instead of feeling like a beginner trying to develop spiritual qualities from scratch, she understood she was reconnecting with ancient spiritual friendships and resuming a path of growth that had been developing across multiple lifetimes. Her spiritual practice deepened rapidly because she was drawing on wisdom and devotion cultivated through centuries of spiritual seeking. Understanding déjà vu also transforms how you make important life decisions. Instead of basing choices solely on logical analysis or emotional preferences, you begin to consider the karmic significance of different options. When major decisions create déjà vu experiences, you recognize that your soul is providing guidance about choices that will affect your spiritual evolution. Career decisions become opportunities to recognize and fulfill your soul's purpose, rather than just ways to earn money or achieve social status. When you experience déjà vu in connection with certain types of work or service, your soul is often indicating paths that align with your spiritual mission across lifetimes. Location decisions gain new meaning when you understand that déjà vu about places indicates karmic connections to specific geographical areas. Your soul might be guiding you toward locations where past life healing can occur, where spiritual lessons can be completed, or where you can serve divine purposes effectively. Relationship decisions are profoundly affected by recognizing déjà vu as soul communication. When you meet someone who triggers immediate recognition, you understand that this encounter offers opportunities for spiritual growth, karmic healing, or mutual service that transcend ordinary romantic or friendship considerations. This doesn't mean you should base every decision solely on déjà vu experiences, but rather that you should consider these soul communications as important information alongside practical considerations. Your soul's guidance through déjà vu helps you make choices that serve your spiritual evolution while still meeting your practical needs. Living with soul recognition also brings tremendous peace about your life purpose and spiritual progress. Instead of wondering whether you're on the right path or making spiritual advancement, you begin to see evidence of your soul's continuous evolution through multiple lifetimes. Even your current struggles and challenges become meaningful when you understand they're part of a larger spiritual curriculum. This perspective eliminates much of the anxiety and confusion that plague people who see their lives only from a single lifetime perspective. When you understand that your soul has been working on specific spiritual lessons across multiple incarnations, you can be patient with your current limitations while maintaining confidence in your eventual spiritual realization. The recognition that déjà vu provides proof of your soul's immortality also transforms your relationship with death and impermanence. Instead of fearing death as the end of existence, you begin to see it as a transition between classroom sessions and your soul's eternal education. This understanding brings remarkable peace about mortality and helps you focus on spiritual growth rather than material accumulation. Perhaps most importantly, working with déjà vu consciously accelerates your recognition of your own divine nature. As you become more aware of your soul's journey through multiple lifetimes, you begin to recognize the eternal consciousness that has been present throughout all these incarnations, your true self that transcends all temporary identities. This recognition gradually awakens what the great spiritual traditions call God realization, the understanding that your deepest identity is not your personality, body, or even your soul's journey through multiple lifetimes, but the divine consciousness itself that appears as all souls and all existence. Déjà vu becomes a doorway to this ultimate recognition because it proves that you are far more than your current temporary identity. Each experience of soul recognition awakens you more fully to your eternal nature and your ultimate identity as consciousness itself. Students who work consistently with déjà vu experiences often report that these recognitions gradually merge into a continuous awareness of the divine presence that connects all beings across all lifetimes. They begin to see everyone as expressions of the same divine consciousness that they recognize as their own deepest self. This is the ultimate gift of understanding déjà vu, not just recognition of past lifetimes or karmic relationships, but awakening to the divine truth that transcends all incarnations. Your soul's memory becomes a bridge to remembering your true nature as pure consciousness, temporarily expressing as individual beings but eternally one with the divine source of all existence. When you truly understand what déjà vu reveals about your eternal nature and spiritual purpose, every moment becomes sacred, every relationship becomes holy, and every experience becomes an opportunity for deeper recognition of the divine love that is your true self. My beloved friend, what we've explored today reveals that déjà vu is far more than a curious psychological phenomenon. It's one of the most precious gifts your soul can give you. These moments of recognition prove that you are an immortal being whose consciousness transcends any single lifetime, and they provide direct guidance from your eternal self about your spiritual purpose. You now understand what's really happening when déjà vu occurs, how to recognize different types of karmic memory, and most importantly, how to work with these experiences to heal past life karma and fulfill your soul's destiny in this incarnation. Remember, every déjà vu experience is a sacred appointment with your own divinity, a moment when the veil between lifetimes becomes thin enough for divine guidance to reach your conscious awareness. These are not accidents or curiosities. They are breadcrumbs on the path back to God realization. The next time you experience déjà vu, don't dismiss it as a brain glitch. Pause, breathe deeply, and ask your soul, what are you trying to tell me? What karmic lesson am I here to learn? What divine guidance are you offering through this recognition? Your soul has been patiently guiding you through countless lifetimes toward the ultimate recognition of your divine nature. Every déjà vu experience is a love letter from your eternal self, reminding you that you are far more than you appear to be, and that every moment offers opportunities for spiritual awakening. I'm curious about your own experiences with this phenomenon. Have you ever had a déjà vu moment that felt deeply significant or led to important changes in your life? What situations or places most commonly trigger these experiences for you? Share your stories in the comments below. Your experience might provide the exact insight another soul needs to understand their own karmic journey. And here's a question to deepen your spiritual awareness. If you could receive one clear message from your soul about your current life purpose through déjà vu, what would you most want to know? Write it in the comments and hold that intention. Sometimes the act of asking consciously creates the conditions for divine guidance to appear. Another question for your reflection. Have you ever met someone and felt immediate recognition that seemed to go beyond ordinary attraction or interest? How did that relationship unfold? And what did it teach you about love, forgiveness, or spiritual growth? These soul recognitions often carry the most profound lessons. If this exploration of déjà vu and karma has opened new dimensions of understanding for you, I invite you to subscribe to our channel and consider joining our YouTube membership community. Your support allows us to continue sharing these profound teachings that awaken souls to their eternal nature and divine purpose. For those seeking deeper spiritual wisdom, join our free email community, where I share additional insights about reincarnation, karma, and the soul's journey across lifetimes. You'll find the link in the description below, along with resources to support your spiritual awakening. Remember, when you awaken to the truth of your soul's immortal nature, you inspire others to remember their own eternal essence. Your spiritual growth creates ripples of awakening that touch countless other souls across time and space. Every person you meet with conscious recognition, every déjà vu experience you honor as divine guidance, every karmic pattern you heal with love and forgiveness, all of this contributes to the spiritual evolution of consciousness itself. You are not just healing your own karma, you are participating in the divine plan that guides all souls back to their source. Your recognition of déjà vu as sacred communication helps others recognize the profound spiritual dimensions of their own experiences. When you share your insights with compassion and wisdom, you become a bridge between the ordinary world and the eternal truths that govern all existence. Until we meet again in the consciousness that remembers all lifetimes, may you recognize the divine appointments your soul has arranged, and may every déjà vu moment guide you deeper into the truth of who you really are. May you see each familiar face as a beloved soul companion, each recognized place as holy ground for spiritual growth, and each moment of soul memory as proof of your eternal journey toward divine love. In recognizing your past, may you awaken to your eternal present, and in understanding your karma, may you discover your ultimate freedom in God.